Hello students. Good evening. Welcome back to my classes, Dr. Manish English Academy. Today I'll do a third poem from the book of Flamingo, class 12 CBSC. That is Keeping Quiet. This poem has been composed by Pablo Neruda. He was born in 1904 and died in 1973. This is the poem which is the pen name of Neftali Ricardo Reyes Basalto, who was born in the town of Parral in Chile. This line describes about the birthplace of Pablo Neruda. Neruda's poems are full of easily understood images which make them no less beautiful. According to the line, Neruda's poems are full of easily understood images. He uses imagery as the figure of his speech in his poem, which is very understand to get the imagination of the things and the words in the mind and to understand it easily. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year of 1973. In this poem, Neruda talks about the necessities of quiet introspection and creating a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings. In this poem, the poet talks about the necessities, most important or significance, value of quiet introspection. Just you can say to watch and investigate about a person, okay, by himself. Suppose that we are only watching and investigating others, but we don't investigate ourselves. Okay, according to the poet, every and each human being should introspect. They should watch and observe themselves in vacant time, and they should always create a feeling of mutual understanding among human beings and the relationships up and downs and so many things. They should behave with human beings politely, and they should always understand the up and downs and the problems and the troubles in the life of others as human being, because this must be the nature of a human being. So let's start the poem. Before you read, what does the title of the poem suggest to you? What do you think about the poem? Keeping Quiet. As we have studied about the poet, so according to the title, the poet wants to give a message to the human being to introspect, to watch themselves, to observe and feel, to find out the lack, bad habits and good habits, to find out and introspect, watch themselves in a vacant time whenever they are not busy to do something else. Now we will count to 12 and we will all keep still. Poet says that we will keep silent. I'll count to 12. 12, it means it may be the time of midnight when a new day starts. So it may be a new beginning with new enthusiasm and courage for the human being. We'll all keep still, okay, motionless. We'll not do a single work and activity in a moment, okay. It must be followed by everyone to make a peaceful and silent atmosphere around us. For once on the face of the earth, let's not speak in any language. For once, for some time, on the face of the earth, in this world, on the earth, we will not speak in any language. This line shows that there are so many languages are spoken broadly in the world, and we have not to speak a single language or a single word on the face of earth. It will make a silent atmosphere on the earth and in the world. Okay, according to the poet, we should not speak for 1 second and not move our arms so much. It means we have not to do a single work in our life, or at that moment we all will be so still, motionless. We have to sit silently and introspect. We have to observe ourselves. Okay, in the first stanza, according to the poet, he wants to say that nobody should do any work, nobody should do speak any language for 1 second and not move our arms so much. Okay, we all have to be silent for 1 second. What would be the result? In the second stanza, it would be an exotic moment without rust, without engines. We would all be together in a sudden strangeness. What would be the atmosphere if we are doing so? It would be an exotic, strange moment for us without rust. There would be no crowd without engines. There would be nobody working. We all be together. Okay, if we are not doing anything, we are sitting quietly, then we all be together in a sudden strangeness. It would be an exotic, strange, okay, an odd moment for we all. Now in the third stanza, the poet says, fisherman in the cold sea would not harm whales, and the man gathering salt would look at his hurt hands. In the above two lines, the poet says, fisherman. It indicates the human being. Fishermen are human being. In the cold sea would not harm whales. Means no human being would hurt any animal. Okay, whales are animals. And the man gathering salt, the man who is working so hard together to collect the salt would look at his hurt hands. Okay, I mean there are so many people who are working constantly and hardly for their livelihood. They would pay attention for some time on their hand. Okay, it would be hurt hand, and what is their achievement and what is their earning. Next stanza of this poem, those who prepare green wars with gas, wars with fire, victory with no survivors. The poet says that those, he indicates towards those people who prepare green wars, okay, who flirts and just like they hurt this nature, green wars, okay, and wars with gas. Sometimes people hurt the people by spreading gases, wars with fire. Sometimes people hurts the people by playing and war with fire. Victory with no survivor. Who is there with whom you are fighting? There is no survivor would put on clean clothes. And the poet says that we all will put and wear clean clothes. We are not going to hurt somebody else because they are also human being. We all are human being and we fight with one another and hurt each other. This is not a fair thing for the human beings. So, and talk about with their brothers in the shade doing nothing. And we will talk with our brothers. I mean there are so many human beings in the world and they are like our brothers. So we will talk together in the shade of trees doing nothing. Silently we would sit there and talk together. Now what I want should not be confused with total inactivity. The poet says, what I want should not be confused. You have not to be confused. There should not a single confusion and suspense about my saying and line that total inactivity. I don't mean that we have not to do anything. We have to be completely inactive. Okay, I inactivate or inactive. I don't want to say like this. Life is what is about. I want to truck with death. I want no truck with death. Okay, this life is very important and significant for us. I don't want to deal with death. Okay, because this life has been gifted on behalf of God. If we are not so single-minded about keeping our lives moving, if we are going to be single-minded, we are not going to do, suppose that we are doing so many works and activities. We have been multi-programmer and multi-worker and tasker. Okay, in a moment we do so many activities and works. So I want to say that is we have to be single-minded, so single-minded. Okay, about keeping our lives moving, and for once could do nothing. If we are going to be single minded, if we are going to think for some time about ourselves, okay, so once we will not do anything, perhaps a huge silence at that moment might interrupt this sadness of never understanding ourselves. The poet says that we don't have enough time to understand ourselves. Okay, we donate and manage the time for others. We don't have the time to do something for us. Okay, to understand ourselves. We only pass the time and manage the time for other works and dedicating the services for others. So we have to manage some time, okay, to be silent. At that moment, a silence might interrupt this sadness, and we are so sad in our life. Okay, we are finding out the ways in the dark places. We are trying to solve our difficulties and troubles. We are trying to manage everything to live a comfortable life for our family. So many things are there, but we don't have any time or enough time to pass and to watch ourselves. So if we are going to be silent completely for some time, then a huge silence, it would be completely silent, okay, and this silent will interrupt this sadness, okay, which we have got by doing so many activities in our daily routine, in our daily life, and we will understand ourselves. Okay, these types of problems and sadness is the cause of not understanding ourselves, according to the poet, as he says in this line, and threatening ourselves with death. Okay, and we take so many risks in our life which lead us, or maybe we can get death. Perhaps the earth can teach us, as when everything seems dead and later proves to be life. We should learn, okay, we should learn something from this nature, from this earth, okay, which can teach us that when everything seems dead, okay, suppose that for a similar example, we are going to throw a seed, okay, that is useless for us, and it will dry in the sunshine, but when it will get the sufficient moisture, okay, and temperature, when the situations will be positive and favorable for the seed, it will grow and be germinated. Okay, this is the phenomena and just you can say process, life cycle of seed, if it will be in the contact of nature. So we must learn so many things from the earth and from this nature. Okay, maybe it will be a silent atmosphere for the world, but after some time, when we will introspect ourselves, then we would rectify the lack and the difficulties, as well as the just you can say bad things, okay, which is wrong in our life and which is very bad and harmful for the human being and for ourselves own. Okay, we would rectify and all. Now in the next line, I'll count up to 12 when you keep quiet, and I'll go. Okay, now again the line is repeated. The poet says that I'll count to 12. Why he is using 12? Because 12 is the period, a span of time, okay, and it is the span of time when a new day starts at midnight. Okay, so it may be the new beginning with new enthusiasm and with new courage and power in our life, in the body also. So you must keep quiet, okay, you have to be silent, you have to be silent, because it is very similar to understand that whenever we keep and we sit silently, then we think about our life's trouble and so many things which we are planning for doing so. So we would get a possible solution and a way of solving the problems in our life. So this is the great moral by the poet, that we have to be silent for some time in our daily routine. We should manage some time hardly to be silent. Okay, it would this silence will interrupt the sadness, okay, which we have got and taking by doing so many activities, just you can say without getting a rest in our life. Constantly we work, Okay, so it would be very easier and beneficial for our life, okay, to be silent and think and introspect, okay, about ourselves. That's it. Thanks for watching and keep learning.